Hey guys, this is the next paint over video, and I'm going to start with graphite drawing based on a DeviantArt tutorial by NobodyX7. I want to make sure that the handle of the axe was lining up properly with the head, and if you see the original, it looks like it kind of has a crook in the neck of it, right where it goes into the axe head. So I just used the lasso tool and moved it around. I also decided to make the wrap look more like it's going around the handle, and then I added more wrappings. Then I wanted to make sure that the axe itself felt more solid, so I gave it some depth, and I used the warp tool and perspective tool to change it a little bit. I tried to keep the same design as much as possible. I kept that little nick in the blade. Just to give an idea of what you could do, I did add a little bit of cross hatching to give some shadow. I'm not sure it goes with the style, but just for fun. But I think it's a cool design, and it was really fun to draw over. If you wanted to go further on this, I think the only thing you could do more is add color, but I think it looks cool like this with the kind of sepia look too. Thanks so much to NobodyX7 for letting me paint over their work. The next one is by Nightmarenulp on DeviantArt. All the links will be in the description. This one's called The President, and basically I thought the main thing was it could look more like the zombie character was like looming over the dead guy. I'm not exactly sure what the story is, but that's what I got from it. So I used the perspective tool, cut him out, and just tweaked it. Then I added more of a rock between them and kept the rock, the zombie guy, and then the guy on the ground on separate layers so I could add fog between them. This just adds more of atmosphere, like a creepy atmosphere, and then it also like gives more depth to the painting, because you can add a layer between like the zombie and the rock with some like fog or whatever. Then I made the guy on the ground a little bit smaller just so he's kind of more in frame, and then I changed the main character's chin a little bit so it looks more like we're looking up at him. And I also played around with the lightning a little more, tried to make it look a little more like lightning. If you use the adjustment layers on Photoshop, you can use like on a separate layer you draw the lightning, and then on a layer above that you use some of the adjustment layers like color dodge or like overlay. You just play around with it with different colors, and it can look like pretty cool pretty fast. And then you can always go back and change the colors. Then I also added more lightning like coming off of the zombie guy. Yep, and I changed some of the colors. I probably changed the colors too much from the original. I hope the artist doesn't mind too much. And thanks again for letting me paint over your work. If you have any questions or want your work painted over, please let me know in the comments below. I also added another layer between the guy on the ground and the rock to add more depth, so there's like fog between them too. All you do is have a separate layer and use the soft brush at medium opacity with like a, I don't use a white, but like maybe like a tinted lighter color. Depends on what you want to get from it. And I removed some of the little cinders like flying in the air. I'm not sure what it was, but I thought there was maybe a little bit too much. I wasn't sure if it was like coming from the lightning or if it was rain. Anyway, I hope what I did was okay. The last one is by DoubleDande, and it is called Watercolor Golf. This one was way out of my comfort zone because I usually don't draw in this style, but I saw a couple of anatomy things that I thought could be tweaked just a little bit to make it look more like a solid piece. So the main thing was the her right arm, so the one on the left for us, as well as the bottom half of both of the arms. I wanted to be really sure like what was going on because right now it's not very clear. I also moved her right shoulder a little bit because it looked like it was a little bit too small, and I decided to add her hands in because just to add in some more clarity with the anatomy. And finally I made her head a little bit smaller. I know this is a stylized piece, but I thought that if you wanted a slightly more realistic look, that could help. Anyway, I hope that the original artist gets some ideas from this, and thanks so much for letting me paint over your work.